But just before we finish, I'd like to turn to each of our panelists just for a 30-second snippet of information, last thing to take away. So I'd like to begin with Oliver.
Great, thanks very much. I feel like I'm in a pupillage interview now.
I'm simply working my way around the screen.
Cool. Personally, I think it's a massive privilege to be able to stand up in court and represent someone who hasn't perhaps the means, the education. They're not articulate, you know, they don't understand the process, they're intimidated by it all. And they're putting all that trust in you to stand up and advance their case in the best way you can. I can't think of anything better, really, or indeed, you know, a job that brings much more responsibility than that. And yeah, that's the point. Your journey through university and then bar school, you're picking up the skills. Obviously the knowledge at university, but then at bar school, you know, how to persuasion, how to structure an argument, and you're putting all that together to represent someone. In terms of the job, why I love it so much, well, no 2 days are the same, no two cases are the same, no two clients are the same. They all have their own idiosyncrasies. No two witnesses are the same. You might ask a question in one trial, get the answer you want, ask it in another trial, and get something totally different. So you've always got to be prepared to listen and adapt. But no 2 days are the same. And at 9 to 5, it's not. It is a vocation. And if that's what you want, then it is definitely the job for you.
Brilliant. Great words there. Jack, do you have any final words of wisdom?
Yeah, well, I agree entirely with everything Oliver's just said. But I've tried to think of something a bit practical. Best piece of practical advice I was given when I was in pupillage is when you're watching a case, so this could apply to whether you're going into Crown Court on a visit, whether you're in a mini pupillage, whether you're a pupillage yourself. The main thing to focus on, or the thing that you need to pay attention to, is the small practical details. So, for example, how do you call a witness? So what sort of steps should you go through to do that? How do you address certain judges, whether they're a magistrate or a judge or a high court judge? And pay attention to how, for example, more senior barristers deal with judicial interventions, because those are the key things that will then hold you in good stead when you're actually in the hot seat yourself and you have to deal with these things. The last thing you want to do is to forget something basic and stupid, like how to call a witness to give evidence. So that would be the practical tip I would give.
Brilliant. Great advice there. Bernice, any final words for the students?
Two things. If you win a case, you're not the best barrister in the world. If you lose a case, you're not the worst barrister in the world. Some things are out of your control. Just try as hard as you can for your client. And probably the most important point that you should always consider for every time you're in the Crown Court, and probably the Magistrates Court or anybody else in courts, be nice to the usher. They talk to the judge and they can make you last in the list of trials that are going to be heard that day.
Brilliant. Great practical advice there. Karim, any final words?
Some practical tips. Do quite a few mini pupillages and don't be put off by the fact that you don't get many pupillages. And if you don't, you can always email me and I'll offer you one. But write articles, do something that there's lots of material out there that you can write on at the moment, and also do something that's going to help you on your destination. Do some voluntary work. Do all the things that you think that might help you along the way. It doesn't have to be law related. All right.
Excellent. And then finally, we'll turn to Saeed.
I would say it's your journey. It's personal to you, with determination, with ambition, and with a sense of dedication. You can get there. Don't be disheartened. Keep at it. The bar has opened up a lot more, even from the time when I was looking to join, and having joined. Barristers are a friendly bunch, as Kadim has very kindly offered a mini pupillage, just email him. You'll find other barristers who are also willing and able to help. If your academic grades you're not too happy with, there are other ways to bolster that with work experience, with other skills and experiences. I'd say just keep at it.
Thank you. Great advice there from all of our panelists. So this brings us to the end of our first Q&A session. I'd like to say a huge thank you to all of our panelists for giving up their time tonight to help you. Thank you to Sunny for helping me to organise this series of events. This is the first in our series of 4 events. The next one is a week today, and it will be with a panel of solicitors. So some of you may well be signed up for that. If anyone's interested in that, you can certainly sign up for that. If you keep an eye on our social media, you'll be able to keep it up to date with all of the latest Q&A sessions that we're running. We're hoping to put on a few more fun events online in the coming weeks afterwards, so keep an eye on that. And of course, keep an eye on the website for any details of the National Speed Mooting competition as well. And tonight's event has been sponsored by publicspeakingtuition.com. So once again, I'd just like to thank everyone for turning up tonight. And